Another day, another absurdity. As Amazon Prime has apparently taken it upon themselves to censor James Bond's gun? I don't even know if censor is the right word. This is some sort of new level Karenism that I don't think we've seen the like of so far, because why remove his gun? What, are you afraid of YouTube's terms of service deranking your thumbnail or something? The only seemingly achieved goal about doing this is demasculinizing James Bond, and the worst part is, these are obviously just photoshops, right? Some better than others, but there are still guns on Prime Video's other pages. The Terminalist big-ass gun, the Tag gun, Play Dirty gun. Clearly nobody else is receiving this strange treatment. And they really are just weird photoshops. Okay, so this one, not too bad, unless you know about, James Bond and his relationship with guns. Perhaps you'd overlook this one, right? But look at A View to a Kill here, right? Let me scroll down, there we are. Look at it, look at this one. Look at his arms. Look at how long his arms are. As if somebody just, cut out a piece of his suit and just pasted it on top of his sleeves to make his arms longer to hide the gun. or my personal favorite, Golden Eye, as Pierce Brosnan gives you those bedroom eyes, as he presumably invites you to a very exclusive circle jerk session. Why? Why? What on God's good earth is the purpose of this? Again, demasculinization I can only assume, but even that doesn't necessarily square. Okay, so these were put out, quickly received a whole heck of a lot of backlash for obvious fucking reasons, and Amazon then seemingly backed down, but only to a degree, as they changed out the key art for these here. Now these, you can see, they're basically just screenshots from the movies with the title photoshopped in, but even then, look, Skyfall, no gun. Die Another Day, no guns. Quantum Solace, no guns. Tomorrow Never Dies, no guns. And Die Another... I know for a fact that he's holding a scorpion in his other hand in this scene, and I'm pretty sure he's choking a Korean with his other hand, but details. All of them, no guns. Not a single one of them. This wasn't so much a victory, I think, as Amazon Prime having a bunch of what I can only assume to be marketing mock-ups, then replaced by the finished products. Okay. Right, on the idea of demasculinizing James Bond, right? I've talked about this before, how James Bond is a classic male property, and particularly the old movies, Bond trying to invade submarines with armies of frogmen, killing each other with harpoon guns and shit. It was madness and it was beautiful, but we've already demasculinized James Bond, goddammit. We've already had black female 007, for fuck's sake. Granted, mind you, 007, not James Bond, so there's a slight solace there, I guess, but that's about it. And hell, Daniel Craig's entire tenure as James Bond was an active exercise in demasculation. Daniel Craig was a modern James Bond for a modern audience, and I cannot for the life of me conceive of a more strident condemnation than that. Daniel Craig himself knew he wasn't right for the fucking role. And you know why Bond eventually died? Because Craig himself wanted him to. Daniel Craig hated this character. He had nothing but loathing for James Bond. Everyone he worked with had nothing but loathing for James Bond, and they wanted to just choke the last bit of life out of the character at the end there, whilst hoping to pass over the torch to a far more diverse version, whom everybody fucking hated. James Bond has already been demasculated to the point of insanity. Could we possibly do any worse? What's the end goal here? I genuinely don't know, and I want to remind you as well. Okay, so Amazon Prime, after a whole lot of kicking, screaming, and tears in a lengthy and mutually exhausting, apparently, series of negotiations, Amazon basically drove the current owner to madness to the point where she was like, I give up. Do whatever you want with it. And that's where we are right now. And anyone who has hope for James Bond, I suggest you bury that hope rapidly, because, yeah, see, James Bond could be the perfect entity for right now. People are desperately looking around for masculine heroes again, especially with the death of the superhero genre. You could make just a classic James Bond movie, focusing in on gadgets, focusing in on spy stuff, and a hot female lead, and you would get loads of attention. You would get an enormous amount of positive buzz simply because you've tossed Daniel Craig out a window. In fact, your entire marketing campaign should be nothing but non-stop shitting on this man 24/7. You should just have a marketing sheet that you hand out to anyone and everyone that works on the entire project, which they just can reference every time the media asks them, so, what do you feel about Daniel Craig? And then you just pick a name from a list. Asshole, shitbag, hater. You choose. Whatever you choose, it'll fit Daniel Craig's James Bond very goddamn well. And there is no sign of that. This is one of the clearest layups in goddamn entertainment history, where you practically can do no wrong. Hell, remember the first one of the Star Wars Disney Star Wars trilogy? Star Wars Disney Star Wars Disney. You know what I'm on about. That was basically just a homage, in essence, to the original movies. And a lot of people pointed that out, and a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, it's not exactly groundbreaking, but hey, it's more of what I love, so I guess I'll like it. Rey's annoying, but shrug, maybe she'll get better, right? People were largely positive towards it at that point in time, which seems almost ridiculous with what we know now, but the point is, people were so willing to give the benefit of the doubt to something that even just looked like the thing they liked, and that was years and years ago. If anything, we're even more desperate now to embrace anything that has even the tiniest hint of being actual old school entertainment. And instead, we Photoshop out his fucking gun. You cannot make this shit up. You just can't. Like, there's no crafting these scenarios. This is the kind of stuff they'd make television specials about 30 years ago, to be like, oh, wouldn't it be absolutely ridiculous if, in the future, people look at James Bond and go like, ha, violent entertainment? Oh, no. Take away that vile brute pistol. Amazon Prime. James Bond. It's a pretty terrible combination. But hey, on the bright side, at least if they, burn another $1 billion or so, Rings of Power style, that's one step closer to Amazon just looking at Prime like the unwanted stepchild it is, and slowly but surely choking the life out of it with a rope. Preferably over a very long period of time so as to burn yet more of Amazon's funding, but still, the end goal is much the same. The worst part is we do need a James Bond of the modern era. Honestly, if only Kingsman didn't... If Kingsman, which has some amazing scenes, by the way. Kingsman is probably one of the best James Bond replacements ever made, but if only it took itself a little bit more seriously. Kingsman is one of those movies that doesn't quite seem to know whether or not it should be erring on the side of parody or actually being serious, and its best scenes is when it is being serious. If it had maintained the ridiculousness of the early spy entertainment style stuff, but dialed down the absurdity and the desire to parody just a tiny little bit, they could have been some of the most impactful fucking movies ever made. God, the plotline of some of them too, the twists, Anyways, the point is, James Bond is probably dead. Daniel Craig killed him many, many times over. In fact, you may also notice, amusingly enough, they didn't bother making any changes for his movies in this. I wonder why. Perhaps it's because Skyfall is already adequately demasculinized. James Bond, ladies and gentlemen, in 2025. You know what? I miss black female James Bond. At least she had a gun.